Hi, are you a parent who is in the process of choosing an elementary school for your child for the very first time? Are you overwhelmed by all the available options? Are you confused by the different opinions that you encounter from numerous people around you? Is this entire process stressing you out? If so, stick with me, for we at Parenting Mantra are about to offer you 3 tips that will be helpful in determining the right school for your child. Choosing a school is a stressful job by itself, and especially a tedious one for a first time mom. There is usually a lot of anxiety when it comes to making the right decision. I know how it feels, for I've been there too. So before we could proceed, let's answer this fundamental question. What exactly is a school at its essence? Answering this question could help us stay on track and not sway away. If we were to strip down the school to its very core elements, then the school at its heart is pretty much the teachers, the students, and the bond they hold. That's it. And let's keep that in mind as we move forward. Well, now it's time for the 3 tips to get you started on making the right decision when it comes to choosing the school for your child. Tip number 1: balance your child's educational triangle, the C. When considering a school for your child, make sure you think of all 3 educational triangle elements: the social development, the emotional well being, and the academic progress of your child. It is understandable that ambitious parents tend to place greater importance on the academic excellence of their children. However, for a child to perform at her very best, she needs to feel secure and comfortable with her teachers and classmates. That is, socially secure. She has to be able to regulate and express herself. That is, being emotionally confident and happy. Only then can a child taste uninterrupted academic success. It will be very challenging for a child to concentrate when she has things that bother her. I've had some bad experiences with my daughter's primary school. I had seen her burst into sudden fits of tantrums when she could not express herself, and I've also seen her bloom when I placed her in the right atmosphere. Remember, being happy does matter to your child. So learn to balance your child's educational triangle. Tip number 2: choose a school that best matches your child's learning style. No matter how good the school is, make sure that it is the right fit for your child. Remember, the best school doesn't necessarily mean that it is the right fit for your child. Children have different learning styles. Your child could be a visual learner, an auditory learner, a verbal learner, a logical learner, a physical learner, a social learner, or even a solitary learner. So choose a school that is in line with your child's learning style. For example, an auditory learner will benefit from lessons taught in the form of a song or where there is music involved. A physical learner understands more when learning through hands on experience and can be quickly bored in a traditional classroom. So choose a school where there's lots of physical activities, where children get to experiment and build things. In general, make sure that your school of choice incorporates a variety of learning styles and does not necessarily stick to the traditional lecture based learning, where the teacher does all the talking and the student is just a passive listener. Tip number 3: it really doesn't matter which educational board you choose for your child when she's just starting out. Honestly, for a child who's just starting on an educational journey, it really doesn't matter right now whether she's placed in an ICSE, a matriculation, a Montessori, CBSE, or any other equivalent board of education. What really matters is whether she's able to manage and cope up with her everyday learning. Remember, this is your child's first brush with education. The entire experience has to be pleasant and rewarding. Managing her day to day work shouldn't be a tedious and burdensome one. According to Anders Ericsson, the author of the book Peak, the sweet spot to challenging your child lies at the boundary between what your child can and can't do. A heavy challenge could lead to burnout in your child, and a considerably lower one could result in boredom. So try to pin down a syllabus that is just about right for your child. And don't let yourself be pressured by what the children in the neighborhood are learning. The Lawrenceville School, a top private school in New Jersey, studied its students' retention rate. The school held a surprise exam for its kids after they were back from their 2.5-month vacation on the already tested subjects. The surprise test was a much easier exam as it tested kids on the fundamental concepts. However, there was a drop of about 30% in the kids' scores, from a previous 87% to a 58% class average. So how far do you think our children will be able to remember after a year? My son has transitioned from an easier syllabus that he was learning for nearly about 2.5 years to a much harder one. Yes, we had to do some work, but it isn't as bad as it sounds. Just make sure that you keep that drive to learn alive. And now let's recap. Tip number 1, balance your child's educational triangle, the C. Tip number 2, choose a school that best matches your child's learning style. And tip number 3, it really doesn't matter which educational board you choose when your child is just starting out. Just make sure that your child is able to cope up with the lessons that are being taught in school. That's it for today. I hope you found this video to be really useful, and I'm hoping I'll be able to see you with more such videos in the future. Thank you.